Yo, 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 welcome back to the Further Your Lifestyle podcast, conversations on lifestyle, passions, and hustles. My name's Chris Furlong, I am your host, and I'm super excited to be back here having the conversation with you. Episode 88 today, and we are talking about purpose. Now, recently I was listening to the Look Mum, I'm Hustling podcast. That's by Drew and Sarah. Now, I love their podcast. I would highly recommend it for some great conversations, some good banter, but also some insights and conversations around people hustling, and they've pulled together something really creative and really unique in their podcast, so go check it out. Now, in one of their recent episodes and in their podcast, they dove into the topic around purpose and how companies need to, I guess, have this down pat more than ever in the society that we're living in, but not just companies, but creators too, or people in general. And I think there's some great discussion around this, and they did a great discussion on it. And it had me thinking about, what does purpose really mean to me? And how does this look and apply to my own lifestyle and my bigger plans beyond now? But also, it made me start thinking, it's like, well, how does everyone else understand purpose? And what do people think about purpose? And I wanted to chat about it. So we're going to dive into that today. But before we even get started, let's just take a step back and actually understand what is the textbook definition of purpose. And I've got two here. I'm going to read it out to you. One is the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. And two, a person's sense of resolve or determination. So for me, purpose doesn't have to be a mission statement as such, but more so it's a why. You know, why are you doing something? The mission more so is an objective, or more so a what. Purpose is the why, mission is the what. Now, I've been creating, sharing, and trying to build something bigger than myself since way before my early uni days. So even back as a kid, and I've done a whole bunch of different things. I've done businesses ranging from selling frogs, selling apparel, flipping items, a washing collection service, like a laundry collection service, drum teaching. I've done subscription socks. I was a computer builder and reseller, and I've also done tech support of certain sorts as well, like call out and go fix people computers. And, you know, now I'm doing reselling, and I've got the podcast and, you know, the business around that with Further Your Lifestyle. And I've also done a bunch of other things too. I've done blogs ranging from personal rants to motivational content. I've got the YouTube, of course, which includes running, reselling, and the podcast version of it. I do have this podcast and the Further Your Lifestyle brand, which is, you know, helping people further their life. And I've done a lot of other things in between. Now, all of these have had a purpose, and they've all had a mission of some sense. Most of them, I can say, have had the purpose to make myself money. But they all had other purposes too, you know, whether it was to help others grow, to spread a message, to build an empire, for example. However, their missions all varied in how, by meeting an objective, I would attain essentially money. That was the ultimate goal, really. So, you know, when we think about these purposes or these businesses or little initiatives that I was doing, you know, what happened? Why are they all not still going, and how does that change? Well, one, I believe that purpose can become quite blurred with the mission, or we lose focus on what we're actually trying to achieve. Meaning we can become so fixated on the money outcome, it can become blurred of, you know, what are we actually trying to achieve here? What is the purpose that I want to achieve, that I have with this initiative? We lose focus on, I guess, the steps that are required in order for us to grow or to get to where we want to be. And we then realize the steps are going to be too hard, so we stop doing the steps and we don't get the results. Speaking from the heart here, and that's my full honesty. But if we remove the pressures of purpose and mission, especially around the elements of when it contains money or requires you do something to get money in return, and bring it back to meeting a need, this will change the way we go about it. And a good example of this would be running. For my own example, and because I'm a runner, the purpose of running for me isn't to make money. It's to clear my head. It's to exercise. It's to grow myself, or to beat myself, or challenge myself. It's to let off steam. And it's my escape. It's got nothing to do with money. And it's purely for personal reasons on a physical, psychological, and mental perspective. It all helps me in those areas. And sometimes purpose needs to be clear to help us ensure that we execute clearly and appropriately. You know, it might be to have fun, it might be to gain experience, it might be to learn, or it might be to make money, but I think they need to be very clear. Now, at the same time, these perspectives will all change how we operate and how we execute, what we see and how we perceive something, and how we even go about making decisions. Another point that I really want to address around this whole purpose understanding is, what about when we change? What about when we identify the purpose is no longer aligning to where we want to be, or where we are going, or what we thought we wanted? Now, firstly, I think it takes a lot of guts to call this out and to say, I'm stopping doing something with conviction because it isn't aligned to who I am or what I want, or you're doing it for the wrong reason. Sometimes we've built up such a momentum and such a brand or a reputation that we just keep doing it for the sake of doing it because we don't want to let people down. But I also think it's very important to understand that as we learn, as we grow, and as we find ourselves further in life and who we are, we will change. We will have new ideas. We will have new interests. We will have new things which we want to discover or that we want to pursue. So I think we then need to make sure we're balancing impulses, side quests, and the actual long-term wants. We also then need to start to consider we need to be open and willing to adjust our journey as it seems fit for the bigger life purpose that we want. Think about it in this perspective. And I'm going to ask you a couple of questions here. When you were a child, what did you want? You probably didn't feel like you had a sense of purpose of such because you were so young, and you probably really didn't have a mission, or if you did have a mission, it was probably you just wanted to be fed and you wanted your nappy changed. So to answer the question, or to ask you the question more so when you were a child, what did you want? Then when you progress into high school, university, later teenage years or early adulthood, as you started to discover yourself and who you are, what was your purpose then? What was your focus? What did you want? Why were you doing things? Then, after that, naturally you progress into a job or start a career. And what was the purpose now? What was your focus? What was your why? What was your want? And then what about now, wherever you are in life? Where are you headed? Why are you doing what you do? What do you want? What is your focus? What is your purpose? So reflecting on this, you will probably find either nothing has changed over those period of times, which I think would be very, very little of us. Most of us, you'll probably find that across all these areas, all these phases of life, and many others that I haven't even mentioned, things have changed. You've changed. Your drive has changed. Your focus has changed. Your mission may have changed. Your purpose may have changed. And that's okay. Sometimes it's hard to make the change, but we do it as it makes sense in that moment, in that time of where you are in that time or today, or what makes sense to the purpose that you want to be focusing on. Sometimes it's hard to make a change, but we do it as it makes sense with where you are today, or in that point of time, or in that moment. And it makes sense with, the purpose and the focus that you have at that period of time. Back in my late teens, basically just coming out of university, or maybe it was the start of university, I wrote a life mission for myself, a bit of a purpose of what I wanted to live my life by. And it was broad, it was very wild, and very, maybe somewhat ambitious, and I probably didn't really know what I was thinking or saying at the time. But now more than ever, I can use it as a compass to help me, stay true to where I want to be or where I want to be going based on this. Now, at the same time, I have the right and I have the ability to come out and say, this isn't me anymore, I don't want this. But I'm here to say it is, and I'm going to share it with you. I want to inspire, be innovative, and promote success through all that I do and to the people around me. I wish to spread happiness and express life through my actions. I plan to create opportunity through my visions, dreams, and inspire those around me to aspire further in their own lives. So that's my mission, and that is my purpose, to make this very clear and to make this focus and very evident in my life. So my whole point of this episode today is this. Purpose gives us a compass. It's something to draw a line in the sand and remind us of who we are and where we are going. Finding it, knowing it, understanding it, and living it will help us. And especially even when you have setbacks. When the world turns upside down, and it will be a roller coaster. Purpose gives us that stability and that sense of direction of where we are heading and where we want to be. Now, purpose can be a lot of different things. It can be a set of rules that you live by. It could be a mission statement of sorts. It could be a big ambitious goal, or maybe it's just to be happy or to help others. The beauty is you get to define it, you get to live it, and you get to change it. Now, I would also understand that there's probably people listening to this, and if that's you, and you're still curious on, I don't know what my purpose is, or you can't find your passion, or you're still struggling to knuckle that down and really identify it, well, let's connect. Let's chat about it. And the best way you can do this is you can continue the conversation with me. You can jump over at my Instagram at Further Your Lifestyle and hit me up with a, direct message or leave a comment. Or I also have a weekly newsletter where you can join and connect, and you can send me an email there as well. And you can check this out over at clfurlong.com. Just www.clfurlong, that's FURLONG.com. And there I share, just weekly updates and progress, but you can reach out to me from me sending that out to you, and we can connect and we can have the conversation, because I believe purpose will enable you to bring out the best version of yourself. And in order to further your life, to further your lifestyle, you need to be living your best. You need to be at your game. You need to be at your peak. Now, I'm not saying you can't further your life if you don't have purpose, but it really does give you that advantage to enable you to move quicker, to make better decisions, and to remove some of the fluff and some of the constraints that would hold us back in getting ahead to where we want to be. And I would love to help you, break down those things holding you back and break down the things that aren't enabling you to get ahead. And that may be finding your purpose or identifying what that looks like. So if you would love to have that conversation, please do reach out to me. Otherwise, if you've been listening to this episode and you feel like someone else could resonate from this, please go ahead and share it. Send it to someone. Let them know what I'm doing, what I'm sharing, what I'm talking about, as I would love to be able to help. Maybe it's not you, maybe it's someone else. So please go ahead and share it. Otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed this episode and you have a wonderful day. Cheers. Now, if you didn't know, we do have the podcast merch, and this is with a key focus of enamel pins. Now, if you haven't checked these out, make sure you do, because the intent of these are really just to be a small token and a reminder for you to charge on, to push on, and to further your lifestyle. Whether it is a gift for someone else to encourage them, or maybe to inspire them, or maybe it's a way to motivate yourself, or you can simply just make a purchase to simply support the podcast, which would be greatly appreciated. We do also have some sweaters and some long tees, so make sure you check it out. Link in the description and in the show notes. Really do appreciate it. Cheers.